This is not an ink review. Instead, what we're taking a look at is the Stalogy 360 planner notebook. Now, the ink used in this review is Palasa from Krishna, and I choose that ink because it is a very sheeny ink, and with it being a very sheeny ink, it's going to help us see some of the qualities that happen. The pens that I use for the writing sample are a Platinum 3776 with a dry writing soft fine nib, a Hero 7045 with a wet writing fine nib, a Visconti Van Gogh with a medium flow medium nib. See, that magnet doesn't hold on. They said that was not a problem. They lied. And a Lamy Safari with a 1.5 stub. Now that we've got some of that preliminary stuff out of the way, let's take a look at the paper. This paper really does have a smooth feel to it. Now, while it's a smooth feel, it doesn't feel like a coated smooth like the Clairefontaine does, but it's definitely a nice smooth feeling paper. So if you really like that to sort of add to some of that writing experience, then this could be a really good option for you. Now, as far as how white the paper is, it's not as bright a white as the Clairefontaine paper is, but it's still a fairly white paper. Now, we see, looking at the back of the page, that we have no real bleed through happening. We have a minor bit of ghosting, but I think this amount of ghosting is not a problem. In fact, I think that once you've written on the back of the page, both sides, you really don't see it at all. And I've done that with plenty of papers, and it's not a problem. So this minor nothing for ghosting is what I'm really going to call it. No bleeding. Now let's see if it makes any kind of an effect on the tone of the ink. When we see, looking at the soft fine, we get no tone shift at all. The wet fine has no tone shift. Now when it comes to the medium, it does seem to be a little darker in some areas, but I think the shading is showing up very well. Same with that stub. It comes a little darker, but I think it's more of the shading. In fact, I think the sheen of this ink is making it appear a little bit darker on the page. Though it's not sheening a lot, but I'm also, when I rub it, not getting any of the sheen that this ink has moving the ink. So for a paper to use with sheening inks, this is a really top-notch one. We see that in all of the writing, we get no feathering, we get no spread. The color is good and still basically true to what we had on the Clairefontaine. And I'm going to say that it's basically true because what we're getting is within the range. This ink does get to give us some shading along with its sheen. That makes it really good to use for this, to just kind of, for one, give me a use for that ink that I otherwise might not use a lot of, and two, to see the qualities of the paper. Now, I hope you got something out of this video, and thanks for watching.